Hello, good morning. I'm back in the studio. It's Monday. So I thought I would pick up where I left off with regards to the previous video on this journal page that I shared starting the beginning of this phase. So before I actually dive into this, I actually wanted to talk about something I had mentioned in one of my other videos. And that was these fabric bowls. I had shared that I was making these fabric bowls, and I think I videotaped myself removing one of them from the plastic bottle, the water bottle that was in here to help form it. So I just wanted to share I wanted to share the finished result and just give my thoughts on it. These are great. So while the process of removing this from the water bottle from this, for me anyway, was a little frustrating and required patience, which I will admit I do lack in that a lot of the time. These are actually really good. Now they are quite hard. So I mean, I wouldn't, obviously you can't put any liquid in here. And they're not meant to be like, you can't, I wouldn't say they're super durable, but they are fairly hard. Now, the original instruction, or what I saw online when I was researching these, was using Elmer's glue to adhere the fabric strips to each other and also to help harden it. I also did, on the final layer, added a layer of Mod Podge. So I'm not sure if this would still have been this hard if I had only used the Elmer's glue. I have no idea. Or did the Mod Podge help bring it, make it harder? So I don't know. But yeah, I'm happy with these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a video, because as you can see here, I've added a lot of beads and little charms and that sort of thing, which really, to me, and I also did a little bit of mark making on it as well with a jelly roll pen. So I'm going to share and do a video this week. It's going to take over a few days because I have to wait for this to harden and do other things. But when I make it, it's going to take a process of a couple of days, is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I thought it'd be fun if I did a video on how I made these, my little tips and advice on making these, little mistakes that I know I made them. I know I made mistakes. So yeah, so you can learn from my mistakes. And the do's and don'ts, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But yes, so, and how I made these ones. So stay tuned for that. I'll be doing that during the week here, this coming week. But I do like these. So just wanted to share and give a little update on that and how they turned out. They're a little bit more, I'm surprised at how hard they are. They're quite sturdy enough. So I'm happy with that. All right, so let's talk about this journal page. So what I did over the weekend was I had a journal entry here from a few years ago. I think it was like 2017, 2018. It was during a lovely, and I'm using air quotes on the lovely with sarcasm, chapter in my life. And I was doing a lot of journaling for healing and releasing things out of me. So it was a journal entry that I leave things in here. I don't cover things up or anything like that because it did its thing. And it serves, it's a journal. It's a journal of things in my life. But I decided that for this particular one that was here, it was time to cover it up. So it had served its purpose, it's done its time, and I was okay to move on from it and cover it up. The energy of it is still in here, and that's what's important because it was a healing thing. It wasn't a negative thing, though the chapter was negative. The healing or medicine that this journal entry that I did on this side was healing, was positive. It helped to release a lot, and it served its purpose. So the energy of it's still here, but I decided to collage over it which I've done the same way I did on this side. And then I did a very light layer of gesso with my palette knife. I just took some gesso and just scraped it on, much like you've seen me do with the Mod Podge when I was putting it down to add the collage to reinforce the page. So I'm just covering up my gesso lid here. Okay, so I've done that. So the page has been prepped. It's nice and dry since it was done over 24 hours ago. So what I'm going to do now this gives me 2 pages. So this face isn't just confined. I can seep into this. So now, again, I don't have anything pre-planned. But what I think I'm going to do is add some color here to start. I'm just going to play and do some different color here and then kind of take it from there. So, and see where it takes me, see where she takes me. I also have my trusty cup of tea here with me. So I'm just going to put some of this green paint here. I have my, there we go, silicone brush. So I'm just going to put some color, and this color may stay, meaning, it, you know, you may see it coming through later, but otherwise it doesn't matter if I don't. It's just putting down some color and covering up the page so I'm not looking at this blank page. That's a little bit more than I wanted to put on, but that's okay. So I'm just going to throw on some color, get a little bit of that over here so it kind of doesn't separate it from the other page. Again, this is probably going to get covered up, so it really doesn't matter, but it's just, and some of it comes through, even better, you know, like it's fine. Okay. All right, there we go. So that's fine. So that's going to stay to dry like that. Now I'm going to focus back on this side of the page. So I'm happy with the skin tones. Obviously, as I go on, there might be a little bit more additions here and there. I'll probably add, obviously, more shading here. But again, that'll start coming in. And I obviously have to raise the shadow line up more because I readjusted the jawline as I shared in my last video on this journal page. So I can actually do that now. Oh, I ended up going to Curry's art store on Saturday, and Curry's used to be closer to me. They have several locations, but my throat's really off, so I apologize if it sounds scratchy or weird or irritating because my throat is really it's this cold that never goes away, and it's, to me, from my ears, it's, my voice doesn't sound the way it's supposed to. But anyway, Curry's used to be closer to me, and they ended up closing a number of their, or they have been closing a number of their locations. So I think there's only a couple of locations left, and it's about an hour and a half away from me now. So it's in another city. So I had to go out that way on the weekend because, I mean, I like to order supplies online. I have no problem doing that, and they do offer online shopping. But, you know, it's not the same as going into an art supply store and looking at all the goodies and all that sort of thing. So, plus I find with this particular store anyway, what they show on their website and what they actually physically have in the store are not, you know, their website wasn't updated because their website said they had nothing in supply of Rio Tech, when in fact they did. So I was happy to see that. But anyway, so I had some fun in there, and I shopped and bought a few things, and then we visited some thrift stores that we like to do as well. But anyway, so there, I raised up the shadow line, and more will be done to it as time goes on. So I'm just going to leave that for now. Okay, so what are we going to do next? Well, I'm going to get a black pencil. I got this one here. It's a Stabilo. It's sort of like a chalk. I don't know if you could see here. So it goes like that, and you can smudge it, and you can write it out again, and you can use the water brush and go like that. So I love that. It's almost like a Stabilo all, but it doesn't say Stabilo all. Like I have a Stabilo all. Somewhere I have a Stabilo all. Where is my Stabilo? That ain't it. There it is. See, this one here says Stabilo all. And then it says aqua. This one's not. I think it's just a chalk. But either way, chalk is going to react anyway to water, right? So now, what I'm going to do, actually, do I even want this one? No, I'm going to use this black pencil. Okay. And what am I bringing this in for? I'm going to go back and kind of outline these eyes and everything more in the nostrils, just to bring them more into focus here. Now, they will be going over with the paint later as well. But for now, here we go. Right. I hope you had a good weekend. Obviously I did, because I got to go shopping for art supplies, and that's always a good thing. Today actually we're getting really nice weather. It's been so wonky. It's cold and warm and goes back to cold again, and we having today, what's today? Today's supposed to be high of 18. So that's good. But in the morning it's still chilly, so you still kind of need your coat and everything. So what I'm doing here is, because I'm using the Stabilo, the chalk one, the chalk pencil, I'm just kind of going around, especially around the tips, and then I'm using it to add some shading here, to add more depth to the eyes. And then I can go back with just a regular pencil and do that. Now, another thing I have done is I've used the Posca acrylic pens. So, and the reason I use this is, actually I bought a fine tip. Look what I got. I got this. I picked this up. So it's got a very fine tip. So I can actually, you know what? Let me try it. I haven't used it yet. Let me try it. I don't usually buy these fine tip brushes because, you know what? They don't last very long with me, and I get frustrated. I'm going to use a liquid, the fluid. But the brush gets all wonky after a while, and I get frustrated. But these weren't that bad in price, and so I bought it. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do here is use it to help outline the eyes. And again, I would still go it over because I don't like just this straight defined line. I like to use chalk, pastel, and soften up the lines a bit. So I'm just going to... So see how this brush is pretty good, actually. I should have bought more. Yeah, usually when I go to the art store, because it's a bit of a way for me, I try to stock up. Like, so this, my raw sienna, which is like the basic foundation for my face skin tones, is almost out. So I went, and this is a 500 milliliter. So I went there with the intention of buying that and another jar of my burnt umber and, you know, a few other things that I'm running low on. And they didn't have my 500 milliliters, so I ended up buying, oh, let me get it. I ended up buying this big one here, and I've never bought this size. This is 1,000 milliliters. Like, this is huge. Like, I don't want to make it, here we go. See the size difference? So, yeah. So that baby is going to last me a long time. Unless, of course, I start doing big canvas paintings, then a lot gets used up. But even then, it's still going to last me a long time. Okay, so I'm going to go back and do this eye here. And if you don't have a thin line brush, just use, you can just use like a acrylic pen and do the same thing. Use what you have. All right, so there we go. I've got that for now. And again, that's not completely stained that way. How's those eyes actually? Let me see. Okay, see right now, this is the problem when you're not paying attention. The eye goes right to here, and this is the outline of the face. I'm just going to do that. So I didn't go out enough with this one. So I'm going to go take my little wet baby wipe. Baby wipes are a beautiful thing to have on hand, by the way. They help clean up things. Okay, so there we go. So I'm just going to take this and all right. And again, this is not like, oh, that's how it's going to look. It isn't. It's going to, there's more to it. But this is, again, just reestablishing the lines, the shape. I'm going to do the nose. Okay, and then very light on the upper lip because you don't want it to look like she's got a mustache. That center line that goes through, kind of establishing where the mouth ends. Here we go. And then the bottom, just slightly going over there as well. Okay, so there we go. There we go. All right, I'm gonna just clean that, clean it off, put it back. Okay, so I've reestablished that. So I'm just gonna pause it here and let this dry. This is almost dry here, and then we'll come back and carry on.